Hey, this is James O'Keefe of the Massachusetts Pirate Party, and I'm joined by Steve Revelak, our first officer.
Good evening.
Uh, Thanks, Steve. How are things going?
Things are going. I feel I can't complain. Well, I mean, I could complain, but yeah, things are going pretty good.
I'm very happy to hear that. Things are going okay. We've got the Labor Day weekend. Unfortunately, we don't celebrate International Workers' Day with all the other countries in the world on May 1st. We have to be different, even though,
It's our labor struggles that they are celebrating.
yes.
Thank you.
Even though we started International Workers' Day, whatever. All right, so we've got a lot to discuss for folks. Unfortunately, we're not joined by Malt or Joe today. Both of them have other things to do, and we wish them luck in all of that. We wish everyone a lovely Labor Day and a day without labor tomorrow. So one of the things we posted was, there's a couple of things we posted, but one of the things is a statement about, learning from the Afghan war. It's up there. I'll go put it in the chat, put it in the description. About, now that the 20-year Afghan war is hopefully over, with 2,400 dead Americans, thousands of disabled Americans, over 100,000 Afghans, and
A lot
sorry,
of
go on.
Afghan casualties.
Absolutely, and over $1 trillion gone,
Which could have been put to better use, to be completely honest.
Absolutely. And so we kind of outlined, what we can learn from that, because, we should all learn from the mistakes that we do it, either as a country or as individuals. And so, we'll put that in the description. You can go read it and, tell us if we're full of it or if that resonates with you. But besides that, and we also have just also put this in the description, but I won't really talk about it much. We are revising our platform, and we signed off on we signed off on a new plank, which focuses on elections and voting. In addition to like our education for all and healthcare as a human right, and addiction policy, drug policy, secure livelihood, defending your privacy, all these things. So I'll put a link in the description, in the chat. You can go look at them. And, again, there are comments, so feel free to comment, give us your feedback. But we've got some good news there, Steve. So you want to talk about it?
Yeah, in the good news department of this week, we can talk about Apple. So earlier in the year, Apple announced plans to do, to limit the spread of what's, commonly called CSAM, or child sexual abuse material. And what this involved is running some software on an iPhone to detect nudity in, images that were being transmitted through Apple's Messages client, and also to do kind of fuzzy matching against known child images of child pornography. Now, one of the concerns about, numerous concerns about this, but ultimately Apple ended up stepping back, and they're going to rethink this and seek input from others. It's one of the things that I didn't like about the proposal is essentially, you are running some software on your phone to basically look at, in this case, images that you either have on the phone or that you're, messaging back and forth. And the initial focus is child pornography, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to stop that. But the concern is, once you have that framework in place, what else would it be used for? And particularly with regards to Apple is a worldwide country or worldwide company, sorry. And
Some people would consider them a country.
some people would
They're
consider
rich enough.
they're rich enough. But the idea is that if China or Russia or Afghan or um, any number of other countries, if they were to say pass a law saying that service providers must do X, and Apple having a local wanting to do business in that country had to obey local laws, there's they've just it seems like they've just provided a framework for more authoritarian countries to either spy on dissidents, on journalists, et cetera, et cetera. But they've decided to walk it back, so that is our happy news for the week.
So when they say walk it back, what do they mean? I know I've heard different things as to maybe we should really, I think that is other activist organizations like Fight for the Future and others have been saying, well, this doesn't go far enough. What exactly are they saying they're going to do?
Well,
or not
do? First, they're not going forward with the plan. That's a good first step. And the one article where I was reading about this from the Register doesn't get too much in. It sounds like they're going to be engaging with some other groups. But basically, the one concrete thing we have is the plan is not, the rollout is not going forward as it was previously planned.
That is certainly good news. Yeah, I know the Ars Technica article, which I'll put in the chat in the description, also mentions that they're making improvements to address criticisms. Mm-hmm. So, the proof is in the pudding.
Don't do it would be a good improvement.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
When the best product is no product at all. No, it's like we get enough anti-features in software. Like, please don't write more of them.
If you don't build it, then the authoritarians won't be able to abuse it. So,
don't build it and they won't come.
Exactly. So that's not the only news that we have. There's been some really big news coming out of Texas that has some privacy implications and certainly some especially free speech implications. Do you want to touch on that?
Sure. And we're talking about we're talking about Texas' new law about banning abortions after 6 weeks, because that's kind of the big news in Texas right now. And I'll just be I just have to say that being a guy, it's difficult for me to have a frame of reference for what the thought process someone has to go through when deciding whether or not to. But what I'd like to talk about are just some of the things, some of the policy implications of it. And the opportunity for lulls, as they say. So
if I can just interject,
go for
a second, just to be clear, our policy is everyone has the right to personal autonomy, and that includes the control over their body. So
absolutely,
a pregnancy that a woman has is her decision in consultation with her doctor, and if she so chooses, her family or the person who inseminated her, if she so chooses. But to involve them, that's her choice. And ultimately, it's about her choice over her body. And there's nothing in there where we think we or the government should get in the way of that. So I just want to make that absolutely clear.
Thank you.
This law is bullshit.
It is bullshit, and I was trying to just, I don't want to be just another guy talking about abortion, because there's my, as being a guy, there's there's kind of a side you don't get, I think.
Mhm.
Anyway, so one of the things in this law was, that instead of really being they were really leaving it up to individuals to enforce and bring suit. Um, and someone established a website for basically, reporting women who were suspected of having abortions, which was immediately flooded by Shrek memes. Which, kudos. There, apparently there was I heard a rumor of about someone on TikTok who had submitted like 742 fake reports in a single day. The other interesting thing is that apparently, from my understanding, anyone in the US is allowed to bring such a suit. So someone out there on the internet had the bright idea of, if we can just start suing random women in Texas or random Republican women in Texas.
Right.
Yes, I'd like to make a public records request for your voter registration rules. And, once you get that, I bet you could automate a lot of it. They've been having the website, and I don't remember what its name was, but I guess they had started with using GoDaddy for hosting, and GoDaddy decided that this violates our terms of service, and now they're looking for another provider. And rumor has it, and this is rumor as in I saw it on Twitter, so it may or may not be real. There's maybe a 50-50 chance, is that like the new provider said, yeah, you're going to have to just take the data collection part of that site and get rid of it.
Which basically makes it useless.
Which basically makes it useless.
Or at least that quote unquote whistleblower site. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing that the way this law was set up, to try and get around the potential Supreme Court saying, no, you can't do that. They're like, we'll just, in the tradition of the US allowing people to go out and claim bounties for people who escaped slavery and went up to northern states, literally they're putting a bounty on on women, and not they're putting a bounty on women who need vital healthcare services. It's absolutely amazing to me how this thing.
One of the best signs I've seen at a demonstration was something to the effect of, "My body is not an incubator." And yeah, it's kind of, Texas went there.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I've seen, and this was pointed out by the EFF, is it's the law is so broad as to what you could sue people over. It encourages, as the article says, and I'll put it in the description in the chat, encourages private person to file lawsuits against anyone who, quote, knowingly engages in conduct that aids or abets the performance or inducement of an abortion. And as they say in the article, it doesn't matter whether that person knew or should have known the abortion would be performed or induced in violation of the law. That is the law's new and broadly expansive definition of illegal abortion. And so suddenly, if you go and publish information as to here are the websites that provide abortion services, or here are the websites of places on the border of Texas who provide abortion services, are they going to be able, if you set up this site and you're in Texas, are you going to be sued? If you're in another state, can you be sued if the website is in your state? Can you be sued if you're in another country and you set up this website? I mean, these are First Amendment threatening this law potentially threatens the First Amendment.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to seeing what kind of further pushback it is, because like people are inventive, and just looking at the way things kind of have gone, where Arizona and I believe Georgia have been on the receiving ends of businesses deciding not to locate there, or because of bad state laws, and I guess we'll see what happens in Texas.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to stay in Texas, because I guess Florida is thinking of doing it, and there's probably some other states that are looking at that. And so it's, yeah, I mean, if you drown the websites in crap data, and suddenly there's a lot of court cases against politicians, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how long, even if the Supreme Court upholds it, if you make a mockery of the system and put in thousands of these cases and they have to deal with it, well, that means all the quote unquote legitimate ones are going to take a lot longer to get to trial, which is bad for anyone who has to pay the lawyers' fees on it, but it's also good because it prevents them from having to pay this dumb money these people have trying to win. So, one other thing I just wanted to bring up, and that is that I guess there's been some dispute between Glenn Greenwald and Chelsea Manning that came off of Twitter, and then from there got picked up by the media, which is probably never really liked Chelsea Manning and never really liked Glenn Greenwald, and about what Chelsea Manning had said about her fears about Glenn Greenwald and his, well, I don't know, his, I'll just leave it at that. And I just wanted to, one of the things that Greenwald reacted with was he tried to defend himself, I suppose, by printing the entire Twitter direct message discussion through many years between himself and Chelsea Manning. And as pirates who believe in privacy, that's just not okay. And, it is wrong to take someone's private communication and, without their consent, and to publish it. And to have someone who says they're a journalist do that, now anyone will know that if you piss off Glenn Greenwald, then you could have your private communications put out before the whole world, and that's not a way to that a journalist should act.
It wasn't cool. Not cool.
So, we're not going to link to Greenwald's Substack. You can find that. You can find stuff about it. But just wanted to make our position clear on that. So, with that, I think that's it. Are those
I think
any
that is
other?
all we have for tonight.
That is all right. Well, folks,
let's go for donuts.
Let's go for donuts. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much for for listening and watching us. We aim to be online live stream every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We hope you'll join us next week. And as always, to get notified, subscribe to us. Click that bell that you want to be notified, and please Please like the videos. You can always find us at masspirates.org. We have, we'll have some events coming up this September and in October and the other months as COVID willing. So certainly digital, online, they'll have events regardless of the pandemic. But please stay safe, get vaccinated, wear your mask, and socially distance. Thank you very much, Steve. I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day.
Yeah, have a great rest of the long weekend to yourself, Jamie.
Thanks so much. Bye, folks. And we're done. Duration 20 minutes.